Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this week's sewing class we're gonna make an underdress or a lining dress, and that will be a piece that you can wear underneath your dresses that are really a bit too see-through, and you can also make it detachable so that you can wear it underneath different dresses. So if you like these kind of videos, please consider subscribing and I show you how to make this underdress.
So to make your underdress or lining dress or slip dress or whatever you like to call it, you will need a stretchy lining. Well, I at least prefer always a stretchy lining for whatever lining I'm doing. And I have a rather thin one. You can also take just a stretchy thin fabric, but it has to be sleek because otherwise your upper fabric will not flow over it, and then it will stick to it. So make sure the fabric that you're using is very sleek and soft material, and then you can use that too. What you need is your basic pattern for the top, and what I do, I always make it a little bit wider than the basic pattern because this is your body fit, and I want an underdress to be a little bit loose, but depending on what dress you wear over it, that decides how wide you can make it. I usually add 2 centimeters to the side seam, that I have some more room, because that means that you have 4 centimeters 8 centimeters all around, so that is rather much, but not that much that it will bulk up. But if you have really a skinny, tight fitted dress, then I wouldn't give it 2 centimeters, just take this line as the basic pattern is, or just a little bit more, but not too much, otherwise you will see bulking up underneath your dress and that's not nice. But now I'm gonna add 2 centimeters to my whole side seam, and then following that curve that my basic pattern has. And then what I did, I measured out how long I want it to be, and that is depending on what kind of dress you're wearing. If it is a dress with a slit or with a button row that you can open up, then make sure your lining is short enough that you won't see it when the slit opens up or when you put the buttons open. So measure that out very carefully. Then I marked on my pattern where my straps, my bra straps are, because I want that as the place where the tank top part will rest, because we give it a tank top shape. So I marked it, and I marked that on my fabric, because now I'm just gonna trace it onto my fabric. I don't trace another pattern on paper, because then I have another paper used, and you can also just with a chalk that I did first, but that was not visible on camera. So I marked it now with pins what line I want to cut, and make sure this is without the seam allowance, so you don't have to cut along the pin line, but you must add your seam allowance, as you also have to do for all my basic patterns. I don't make patterns with seam allowance, so you have to add that. So when you've done that, you can take your basic pattern off, and then you can mark your armhole and your neck hole. And that means I took the marks that I put on my basic pattern where my straps, my bra straps are, and I give it a centimeter on both sides. And then I made a curve going all the way down to the armhole, but the normal armhole that was of your basic pattern. So it was now till here, so I connected it to that same point. Then you have a curve like that. Then I measured out how low I want my neck hole to be, and that is also depending on the dress you wear it underneath, because you don't want your underdress to show. So mark that very well, and then make a curve from this bra strap line going in a curve to that place. This is for the front. For the back it's the same. The only thing is, of course, you won't make the back that low. You can just use the curve of your basic pattern, or just a little bit below. I usually go just 1 centimeter lower, that it won't show up if you have a dress without a collar or whatever. That wouldn't be nice. So you just cut this out. You sew your shoulder seams and your side seams, and then what you can do, I will just use my serger to finish all the raw edges, so the hemline, the armhole, the neck hole, and then you are done. You can do that with your sewing machine with an overlock stitch or a zigzag stitch. If you don't like it, if you don't like to see the stitching, you can of course also make small walled hems here along all the seams. Make sure then that you have enough seam allowance, because I'm just gonna cut it out where I don't have a seam, like the side seam. I just cut it out around my pins, but if you want to make a walled hem, you must give that seam allowance too. If you don't, if you do it like I will do with a serger or a zigzag stitch, you only need seam allowance here on the side seam. So I cut out both of my pieces, my back and my front, both on the fold. So now I'm gonna put them right sides together, and then we can sew the side seams. So just open them up and lay them on top of each other. So it's a very simple way to make a nice lining for a dress or a slip dress that you like to have. So you lay them nicely flat, align the side seams and sew both side seams down, and then you can finish the edges, the hemline and the armhole and the neck hole. And then your dress is almost done, because I'm gonna give you a tip how you can attach it to your dress. So now what I did, I put some interfacing onto the shoulder seams from the inside, of course, and I made a buttonhole here on both sides, and then I'm gonna put a button on the inside of the dress, also in the shoulder seam, and then you can button up your dress, your slip dress, your underdress onto your outside dress, and then you have it attached together, but you can take it out if you want to. And that's a very easy way to have them together, but also be able to have them separate, or to use this underdress for another dress. But I always like to have them attached, so that I don't have to search for an underdress anywhere, and I like that very much. And because mine is rather loose, I can do it with only attaching the shoulder seams. But if you have your underdress made tight, then I would advise you to at least also secure the bottom of your hem. Otherwise it will ride up on you, and then you don't have the coverage that you want your underdress to give you. So make sure you do that when you have your underdress nice and tight. But if you have it like this, then you can do it just with the buttons, and you have a really nice and a good functioning underdress. So I hope you liked this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section and I will get back to you. Please subscribe if you like my videos, and I'll see you again next week with a new sewing class. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!